further time on the call. Good morning once again, and then welcome to today's session. I believe you can see me and you can hear me. All right. So today's session really is going to be a very important session because it borders on the rise of extreme agile, which most of us may not have come across because it's pretty much a new conversation, right? Even though the conversation was kickstarted by Jeff Sunland, one of the proponents of the Agile Manifesto, one of the signatories to the Agile Manifesto. It's been around. So the idea, the core idea behind Extreme Agile, really is about embracing AI, how AI can pretty much fast track the activities or whatever it is that Agile already does in terms of the different elements or the different frameworks that we have within Agile, enhancing those frameworks and giving it even more speed, as it were. So today we'll be hinting more around Extreme Agile and Scrum, right? Of course, I'll be drawing a bit of insights on Scrum, and then I'll be giving insight as to what it is companies, organizations around the world today are looking out for when it comes to the embracing of AI, plus Agile. So the extreme nature of Agile world in the world today cannot be overemphasized. So companies around the world are now looking at recruiting guys who do not only understand how to write prompts, but who can pretty much develop relationship with AI to the tune that the AI becomes more of an agent, more of a partner, a team member, okay, in the delivery of projects. So that's basically the foundation of Agile at its extreme. So, for instance, if we look at Scrum, Scrum believes, of course, largely in the ceremonies, like we already know, the sprint planning meeting, the daily stand ups, um, the sprint review meetings. And then one of the very critical principles is the fact that Scrum relies on people, right? People who are self-organized. Now, we when we talk about extreme agile, we are no longer talking about only people. We are talking about people and AI. We're talking about the partnership that exists now between people and AI. Okay, so one of the core advantage of extreme agile as embraced today by different companies and organizations around the world would be around the 10x the 10x, it's called the 10x increase in productivity caused by AI. So Jeff Sunderland argues that by the time we make AI an agent and a partner in the agile implementation or in the implementation of agile and scrum, as it were, you would find that eventually you will find that the productivity will be 10 times more than that of you just doing a typical scrum, when people rely on delivery projects without without this automated process. So now AI has come to change the game by implication. So if you want to be a CEO, for instance, and then you see that there is a field, right, that enhances the productivity of your staff by at least 10 times, definitely you would be aiming towards recruiting people who have worked within such environments, because of course that's what organizations are doing today. And if you go on job boards, you would begin to see roles like AI business analyst, AI business consultant, AI project managers. That's what we are talking about, guys who have pretty much worked with AI tools, who are pretty much partnered with AI agents in delivering projects, in delivering change to the clients, to the stakeholders, in delivering value by implication. So these are the guys that are driving the workplace in today's work environment. All right. And then, of course, like the Agile Foundation e-school just rolled out her project management business analysis course, which is big on AI. In fact, you'll be trained either as a project manager, scrum master, IT business analyst, AI business consultant, AI project manager. You'll be trained in the different fields as you may deem fit. Okay, because we have scrum masters, we have project managers, we have business analysts. Now we are talking about IT business analysts, we're talking about AI business analysts, AI business consultants, AI product owners, and that's what we're talking about now. All right. So it's very important you send, a message. Of course, you can reply to the emails sent to you, or you can reach out to, the customer care person at any of the handles. Agile Foundation eSchool is on LinkedIn, is on TikTok. In fact, is on Thread, yes, and it's also on Instagram. Just type at AFES official, all right, at affix underscore official, and then you'll be all in. All right. So you would get to speak to our customer care representative who would pick up conversations around, first schedule you for a mentorship or for more like a one-on-one session, right? Where you get to speak with a mentor who would pretty much understand your journey, your unique journey. Either you're a professional in the field, or you are a newbie, or you are looking to upskill. You would be spoken to in the direction of your career, and then provided the advice that would help you make your first move into the project management space. So it's not enough to just pick up any course and get going. No, it's very important you first have that conversation with a mentor, someone who is known to the field, someone who understands what it is, that we're dealing with when it comes to the conversation of project management. All right. So just send a DM today. One of our team members definitely will be picking up that conversation and having you sorted. Now, back to the conversation, right? Out by telling you guys about AI and Agile. Now, before we even talk about AI, right, it's also important you understand the Agile and the Agile principles and the Agile values, Agile framework. It's very important you understand the things, which is why our training, again, is curated to not only expose to AI when you do not have the foundation, because you're moving from a place of, from a place of knowledge to a place of the unknown, right? So the unknown worlds are actually what you'll be now exposed to, like the AI environments, the tools to support you and make you even more 10x productive, the respective goals. Before you begin have those conversations, it's important you first have the conversation around what is agile, right? So that's our training is, specifically curated to help you transition from becoming an agile project manager, agile project consultant. You're going to hear things like agile project consultant, agile business analyst. Of course, these are the roles that we're talking of in today's agile environment. Okay, so please, if you're not speaking, because I hear some background noise. If you're not speaking or not trying to ask a question, kindly have your microphone on mute. Okay, just so we can have a productive conversation. All right. Again, just to throw in this recommendation for some of you who might be listening in, and then you might have had something before to do with project management. Either you might have trained as a business analyst, or you have trained as a project manager, or you have trained as a scrum master, a product owner, a product manager. We have a job acceleration program specifically for you guys who have had prior exposure to project management. Now, what this program would expose you to really is a bridge. So it's a bridge between training and securing jobs. Have identified very critical strategies, helping you model your CVs, helping you model um, sound, helping you model. Okay, let me see. I think there are questions in the comments. Let me be sure. Okay, so helping you model your CV, optimize your LinkedIn profiles, help you curate, of course, work with you to curate a very standard, globally standout portfolio. Because, of course, most of you do not know this, but you need to have a portfolio for you to stand out in the job market. Okay, so we work with you to curate a portfolio. We would have several interview mock sessions with experts. Of course, hiring managers at different times will be invited, just to point out areas, right, where they are most looking out for, so that you are pretty much aligned as to what to expect. And we've seen that this program, of course, is with the strategies we have, right? It's enough for you to upskill from knowing, from that place of having the knowledge of project management analysis training, to getting hired in just about 3 months. That's about 12 weeks. It's a 12 weeks program that is tightly knitted, a lot of conversation. You'll be, of course, trained from the theoretical aspect, but most of the conversations and the trainings will be around mentorship, one-on-one session, interview preparation, portfolio building, CV revamping, and strategies for beating ATS, LinkedIn optimization. It's all expert led. So it's big on pushing you towards that bridge between where you are currently at and then securing your job. So it's a training, a job acceleration training, specifically curated for guys who have been exposed to project management before. You have certifications, you have CBAP, you have PMP, you have masters. So we've seen instances where there are guys who have even masters in project management. They have CBAP, for certification for business analysts, professional certification for business analysts. We have guys who've gone ahead to do PMP, right? But yet they are not securing roles. So we've created this program, expert led, specifically for guys who have this sort of exposure before now, who do not know how to bridge it, how to move from where they are currently at to securing a job. So you will do well by, again, reaching out, of course, sending a DM, of course, sending a DM and then sending a mail to the provided emails and then provided links. Of course, if you see this video on any of the platform, either on TikTok, you can send a DM. If you see it on Instagram, you can send a DM as well, and then customer care representative will pick up the conversation and have you sorted. Okay, so one of the mindsets, or one of the framers of Extreme Agile, of course, the pioneer framer of Extreme Agile, speaking of Jeff Sunderland, he believes strongly that AI is an agent and a partner more than a tool. Now, while it is true that in a typical Scrum environment, for instance, we rely on project teams, and that's why we begin to hear things like, within Scrum, we have three core roles: the product owner, the Scrum master, and the project team, who are basically the execution team. Now, you would find that within the Extreme Agile conversation, you would see instances where project team members are agents, automation tools, AI agents that, just like one of the ceremonies of the Scrum is to provide daily stand-ups. So with this setup, this Extreme Agile setup, AI tool provides it doesn't wait until 24 hours to provide updates as to what has been done, what is to be done, or what are the challenges, because that's typically when providing a Scrum daily updates. That's typically what happens. Development team comes and they give an update as to, oh, this is what they've done, this is what they've not done, these are the challenges, these are the blockers. Now, Jeff Sunderland is saying that companies are not because change is happening around the world. AI is causing change because there's a lot of transformational journey in the digital space happening today. Companies are fast embracing this. Don't wait any longer for 24 hours before you come provide a daily update. So AI is scraping the different aspects of it, right? Because AI now is working as an agent, side by side with the team, more like a team member now, right? In this extreme agile setup. So AI provides daily, like on the minute updates instead of waiting 24 hours to have a meeting, 15-minute time box. No. So that the daily stand-up meetings are becoming even smaller in time. So instead of the typical 15 minutes daily stand-up, the typical daily stand-up would then last about 5 minutes. Because Jeff Sunderland is saying, let's have less time, less and less time interacting, and more time getting the job done. Because that's what organizations are actually up about in this current time. So Extreme Agile is changing the game. And that's what organizations are pitching for, guys who work closely with AI, who see AI as agents, not as tools. Because most of us, before now, see AIs as tools. Oh, you just go to AI. Can you give me this? Give me this response. What is this? What is that? No, that's not what AI is actually meant to do within the context of Extreme Agile. And then all the elements or all the processes or how you can work with AI as an agent, of course, definitely will be exposed. You'll be taught that thoroughly by the time you join one of our trainings, either the project management business analysis training coming up on the 21st of April, or you join the job acceleration program, like I've highlighted. All this concepts, all this would be you'll be made to understand how to work with AI as an agent, not just prompting AI, not just providing AI, prompts and then having to work with AI as a tool. No. So now we are moving into AI in this digital transformation era as an agent, as a team member, pretty much having AI as another person, right? So you build a relationship with AI by so saying. Companies and organizations are now looking out for guys who have relationships with AI, who are comfortable working with AI as partners, as team members, not as tools any longer. So you'll be exposed to all the, of course, you wouldn't just go straight into it because the structure of the training is such that if you do not understand in the first place, if you do not understand agile, we can't just move into extreme agile, right? So it's very important you note that the training is structured in the way that you would first be exposed to agile, you first become comfortable in agile, and then you will be exposed to the tenets, the principles, the practice of extreme agile in line with the agile practice so that it becomes even more sensible to you. It can make more sense to you when you go out there and apply. And then the training is definitely hand intention placement opportunities where stakeholders or team members are actually going participating in real projects, driving projects from start to finish, seeing how this thing work in the real world. And beyond that, of course, reference checks would be made available, referencing will be made available up until 2 years post training. You would have that liberty of coming back for referencing, and then resource materials, of course, are lifetime access to the Agile Foundation eSchools resource materials. So you would have access to those, and especially if you're pitching to working remotely. Yes, if you're pitching to working remotely, you're pitching to secure sponsorship roles, you're seeking to move from one region to the other region. Because of course, there are instances where some of our staff, for instance, who work with, we have a staff currently working from the US, of course, works with a London at the London office. So you would find across board, you find the opportunities for remote working, and that's the essence of some of this. That's the essence of this course. So project management business analysis provides you with that opportunity. All right, it provides you with that opportunity to work remotely, provides you that global reach, sponsorship opportunities, of course. Please, if you're not speaking, kindly mute. I think Jay Bata, you might mute. Kindly mute. Thank you. All right. So you would find a lot of opportunities in this space. So why not? And again, the for some of you who think it's just going to be straightforward and easy, right? Or I'm just going to get in and get a job. Yes, it's as easy as you put in the effort, and the jobs are there. Can you just to go on Indeed, for instance, and search up Scrum Master roles, AI project manager roles? You send job fresh posts in the thousands. Who do you think will take up those roles? Who do you think will take up those roles? Countries like, for instance, countries like Germany, countries like the United Kingdom, for instance, are in fact Australia still has some IT roles in their sponsored list. So who do you think they will be looking out for in terms of recruitment? There are organizations who have the right to hire and then, of course, hire people across their talents. They can hire them and provide them with such sponsorship that enables them to migrate from their country of origin to the respective countries where this job resides. And then you have the opportunity as well to work remotely. So yes, this career path opens you up a lot. It opens you up for opportunities across the globe. Are we talking about the opportunities in terms of the remuneration? You would find, in fact, a junior BA role in Canada, for instance, earns as low as 45,000 Canadian dollars. You would find that a junior to mid level business analyst role in the United Kingdom earns between 45 to 50,000 pounds annually. So talk about the senior BA role. So you see, it's a very lucrative field, and I will tell you, but you must take the step. So if you've taken the step, again, like I said, if you've taken the step, you now have certification, you have masters in project management, masters in business analysis, you have CBAB, you have PMP, just name, and you're not getting the jobs. You don't have the strategy. Yes, that's why the job acceleration program is there. So just send the DM and then you'll be provided with all the details. It's a 12 weeks rigorous session aiming at bridging the gap between where you are currently at to get ahead. So if you do not have such trainings within the project management space or such certifications, please, that particular program is not for you. Then if you do not have such training, then you know that you're coming into the project management space, you want to transition from your current workplace, your current career path, you want to transition into IT, into tech with zero coding skills. Yes, project management business analysis course is the one for you. And then our project management business analysis course is kicking off, like I said earlier, on the 21st of April 2026. Okay, so do well to send the DM and then you'll be sorted. Now, back to Extreme Agile and Agile. Like you know, for Extreme Agile, what defines done for them? Because within Agile, within Scrum particularly, we term definition of, there's something we term as definition of done. Now, definition of done is typically when a backlog item meets the sprint goal. So you're driving towards, okay, let me break it down for some of you who may not even understand some of the terminologies I'm using. Okay, again, that's some of the things you'll be exposed to when you join the Agile Foundation e-schools training, because of course you learn how to not just be a BA, not just be a BA consultant, not just be an AI project manager or business analyst. You'll be exposed to how to speak like one, so that it becomes easier to scale up interviews, because some of the things that recruiters are looking out for during interviews are people who can speak. Now, definition of done, just see it as there's a criteria set for considering this work that I've set out to achieve to be completely done. Okay, so those criteria in Agile, particularly in Scrum, we must have gotten to a point in our sprints when we check our sprint goal. What did we set out to achieve? Is this output in line with what we achieve? If yes, we can now say that this meets our definition of done. But for Extreme Agile do not wait for a sprint to be done with. It doesn't wait for a typical sprint will last for 2 to 4 weeks. 2 weeks would be the typical duration, but some organizations typically have sprints run into 4 weeks, right? So for Extreme Agile, it considers value. It considers value on the go, because AI agents with the integration of data, so there's more of a predictive and a realistic prediction from AI, giving us direction as to if we are meeting, if we are even going to meet this target. Oh, we set out the target for 2 weeks. We will not be waiting for the 2 weeks to be able to see that this target had been met or not. AI on the steady, on a daily, gives us a data, gives us data sets that supports our trajectory, that helps us to understand if where we are headed is even in line with what we had set out to achieve in the first place. So that it saves us the time, it saves us the energy, it saves us that journey, that long journey of waiting. Okay, so extreme agile practice is data and data driven. All right. I take another example. For a typical agile scrum environment, where we estimate using planning poker, we estimate using Fibonacci sequence for, of course, effort estimation. Now, some of this effort estimation are not without human bias. I'll tell you. Extreme Agile has identified the fact that while we are estimating work efforts for the execution team, the guys who will be executing this project, while we are having these tools like the use of certain sequencing, certain planning tools like the planning poker, the Fibonacci sequence for measuring velocity and all, that we can support such with data, real data, instead of data that, of course, using Fibonacci sequencing for, as a case study. You would find that using Fibonacci sequence as a case study, you will find that we are not providing definitive, or we are not being definitive, because for a Fibonacci sequence, by the time you talk about 1, 2, and 3, it means that the task is not heavy, that the development team can easily have them sorted. If we look at a number between 5 and 8 for a Fibonacci sequence when estimating work efforts, 5 and 8 denotes, oh, this task is not as easy as, but is doable and is within the region of doability. So we tag such as 5 and 8. Now, when you find tasks that has any sequence as 21, for instance, in the Fibonacci sequence, you immediately begin to think about this task as a very difficult task, and you begin to think about this task as a task that might require extra resources for it to be done with. So in Fibonacci sequence, it just throws numbers and gives you an idea of what to expect in dealing with tasks. But with Extreme Agile and the introduction of real data, And because, of course, some of you would say, how do these data come about? There are automation tools that monitor everything that everybody does. So it provides, reasonably speaking, realistic data that speaks to the exact thing. So if I'm saying that this work will be done in XYZ amount of hours, yes, Extreme Agile supports that. With this data, you can reasonably predict and reasonably speak to the facts of tasks being handled. All right. So extreme data is moving because remember when we started, I said the idea behind extreme data by Jeff Sunderland is to make us 10 times productive. While we are using agile as in our workplace, I'm telling you, mobile company organizations, because of the speed with which AI has made digital transformational journey become, organizations are looking for guys who can make job 10 times faster. And that's why it's easier to hire one person than have five people who deliver just using one model, right? Organization would rather hire one person who can make job 10 times easier and faster for the organization. So that the organizations, imagine organization hiring two more people or persons with such skills who can understand AI from a place of partnership, from a place of co-workership. You would find that such organizations will become even more 20 times productive. With one person, there's 10 times productivity. With two persons, then imagine where you have five team members. So organizations are actively looking for guys who are not just agile inclined, but guys who are 10 times productive. And that's the idea behind Extreme Agile. That's the idea. 10 times productive. Okay. For some of you who just joined, like I highlighted earlier, we have the Agile project management business analysis training coming up. The of course extreme agile conversation. In fact, a module is dedicated to exposing you to the automation, the strategies, and all when it comes to extreme agile and the blend with agile. But that, of course, will not happen until you are grounded in agile. So the training is well grounded to cater for guys who are new, guys who are transitioning, guys who do not have any coding skills or who do not even think they want to get into any coding skills. Yes, it makes it easy with automation and AI. It becomes even easy for you to transition into tech and become a business transformation expert like the AI business consultant. Because in that direction, you are driving value to the business. You are a business consultant because you understand the business, you understand where the business is headed, you understand what the client wants to achieve in 5 years, in 10 years. And it is your job to drive it from the perspective of digital transformation, to use the digital transformation tool, to use digital transformation as a tool to driving clients' goal, growth, and vision. Okay, so business analyst, strategic business consultant, of course, you'll be exposed to these roles. So if you take up the course kicking off on the 21st of April, just send a DM, you'll be sorted. You would be exposed to the world of project management analysis, and then you'll be thrown to real project where you carry out internship, you know, executed, and of course you'd have CV revamped. You a whole lot of perks and advantages exist for you. So do well to send the DM today, and you'll be sorted at that level. So let's see. Do we have questions from anyone? If there are questions, let's take questions, one or two questions before we aim towards wrapping up the session. Are there questions from anyone? From all I've said, any question? Let me check our online platforms. Please, if you have questions, okay. Okay, no questions. Okay, I don't see any question. Beautiful. Now, I will just talk about an aspect of Agile as one of the values of Agile, because one of the values of Agile is working software. There are four values actually, but one of it, which is one of the very critical values of Agile, is working software over comprehensive documentation, which means agile agile methodology leans more towards a working software. Let's get it sorted. Let's get it started other than waiting for comprehensive documentation before we respond to change. Agile is saying, let's begin with response. Let's start something. Let's get a piece of information and then put them together as we solve the problem. So Agile do not want to wait until all the documentation is complete before they want to, get into the work. Now, what Extreme Agile has done is that because with the tools like AI and with AI as an agent, you are not only engaging AI as a tool, you are engaging AI as an agent. So AI already has a deliverable. So it means that if you're in a team, AI has a deliverable, you have a deliverable. So AI will be expected to provide a deliverable via the automation funnels. Yourself, you'll be expected to provide your own deliverables at the time it's due using the different funnels that might be in view for the project. All right. Now, comprehensive documentation job has now been relegated to AI agents so that there's something called auto documentation. So business case documentation, AI would then be producing them as a deliverable. So all the documentation required, because Agile is not saying I don't believe in documentation. Agile is saying let's not waste time on documentation. But now there's no time to even waste on the documentation because AI as an agent is handling that. When AI as an agent handles that and throws this in the funnel, as a human being, as a co-worker, as a stakeholder, all we do is review and give feedback, and then align with our stakeholders with the AI too. You align, and then the project is moving. So you no longer have to wait for comprehensive documentation and working software. So it's a blend of both now, because documentation is happening in an style while you are chasing up with a working software. So it's a blend. Now imagine how this, of course, increases productivity. And that's the conversation. That's why we're talking about extreme agile, having the advantage, providing us with 10 times opportunity, providing us 10 times advantage as we have it in the world today. So trust me, extreme agile is a conversation that is gaining relevance, that organizations around the world, especially with the proliferation of digital transformation across the world that is sweeping around the world today, companies, organizations, big industries, big organizations are embracing guys who are big on agile, who are big on extreme agile, who are big on automation, who are big on relationship with AI tools, who have relationship, who can work with agents, who can program agents, and then work with those agents in delivering value. So it's very important that we open our eyes, we open our hearts to AI, because AI has come to stay. Now is the best time, if I would advise, now is the very best time to pick up these learnings, because trust me, 10, 15 years from now, more people, more persons will pick up these learnings, and then the competition becomes even stiff, more stiff than it is today. So now is the best time to pick up these tools, upskill, become more marketable, secure the jobs, and then you will be better for it. So this is the very best time. I must tell you, now is the time to pick up the skill and get it started. Okay. Other than waiting for another 5 years, for another 2 years, because a whole lot would have happened, and a whole lot, because of course a whole lot keeps happening on a daily basis when it comes to agile and the world of project management. All right. So as we draw the curtains, let's see if there are other questions. If there are questions at this point, please just leave them on the comment section. Let's see. Oh, there are no questions. Thank you so much. I think at this point, this is a good place to draw the curtains. Do well to send the DM, and the customer care representative would be well on ground to have you sorted and have you, of course, onboarded. And then, like I said, our training is such that if you're confused or you do not know where to start from, you'll be scheduled for a one-on-one session with a mentor who would understand your specific journey, your career journey, and then recommend a course for you. So you are not just moving in blindly if you do not understand how to move or how to make your first step, or how to take your first step in the project management space, you can book that session, and then you get started. Basically, that would really much help you or save you the time. Okay, you would get to speak with an expert who would help you to, pretty much carve out. In fact, you can work with the expert to carve out like a career roadmap within this journey, the project management journey, and then you are better for it. Something you can follow, and then within shortest time, five years, you are well on your journey to becoming even senior business analyst, senior consultant, or whatever it is that you would be pitching for. Okay, my name remains Jeffrey Obi. It was a wonderful time being on the call with all of you, and I hope you must have learned something or two. I see you on the other side. I hope to see you on the other side. So send a DM today and have yourself registered, and I'll see you on the other side of the training. Thanks once again, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day. And once again, happy holidays and cheers. Bye bye from me.